Hi again. So I'm going to do that next problem for you. I think you said it was problem number 3. So that one looks like this. It starts with a big square root, and it has 5 to the 1/2 power times 4. All of that is in the numerator, and in the denominator we have 2 times 5 to the 1/3 power. So that's what the problem looks like. So just like the other one I was helping you with, we're going to split up the numerator a little bit to make it easier for us to work with. So I'm going to split that square root and just have it like this. The square root of 5 to the 1/2 times the square root of 4. So I broke up that square root on the top, and I'm just going to leave the bottom, the denominator, as it is for now. So now I can work with each of these individual pieces. So 5 to the 1/2 power, taken the square root of. The square root we know is the same as a 1/2 power. So we learned that previously. So the square root is the same as taking this whole thing and raising it to the 1/2 power. So I'm just going to rewrite it. I'm going to leave this 5 to the 1/2 power that was already under the square root, and I'm going to raise that to the 1/2 power. So that's the same as this right here. Now the second part, the square root of 4, well, we should know that the square root of 4 is 2, because 2 times itself is 4. And again, I'm going to leave the denominator just how it is for this step. All right, now I'm going to deal with this 5 to the 1/2 power to the 1/2 power. So when you're raising a power to a power, you're going to multiply those two powers together. So this is going to become 5 to the 1/4 power. And I'm going to leave everything else the same for this step. So if we want to simplify this big fraction a little bit, if you remember about simplifying fractions, if we have a 2 on the top and a 2 on the bottom, we can cancel those out because 2 divided by 2 is just 1. So we can cross those out and get them out of our fraction. So now I'm going to move up here. The only thing I have left on the numerator now is 5 to the 1/4 power. And what I have left in the denominator is 5 to the 1/3 power. So now we have the quotient rule that we can use. Since we have the same base, 5, we can just subtract the two powers. So what I need to have is 5 to the, and I'm going to have to do 1/4 minus 1/3. So in order to subtract those fractions, I'm going to have to get a common denominator, and I'm going to use the denominator of 12. That's the least common denominator. So 1/4 as 12ths would be 3/12. And 1/3 converted into 12ths would be 4/12. So I have to do 3/12 minus 4/12. So that's going to end up being 5 to the negative 1/12. So you could leave your answer like this, but I find it easier on these problems to write it in a couple different ways. That way you can find which answers they're looking for. So having a negative exponent, we know that means that needs to be in the denominator of the fraction. So it's 1 over 5 to the 1/12 power. You could also separate that 1/5 out, take the 1/5, the fraction part, and raise that to the 1/12 power. So you have 3 different ways that you can write the exact same thing, and that's helpful when you're looking at the multiple choice answers. So just like the other problem, you're going to have to go through each of their answers and decide if you think it matches one of your answers. I usually, when there's all this work on the page, I try to circle all of my answers. Like I know these are the answers that work, and let's see if any of theirs match. So just for an example here, I'll show you. If you take choice A that they gave you, it was the 12th root of 5 to the negative 1 power. So I'm going to have to see, can I manipulate this into one of the answers I know is correct? So you can play around with it a little bit. You can leave that 5 to the negative 1 power just how it is. And then again, instead of taking the 12th root of something, the 12th root is the same as raising it to the 1/12 power. So you could rewrite it like this, and you know that raising a power to a power means we're going to multiply those exponents with each other. So negative 1 times 1/12 would be negative 1/12. So now this choice A that they gave you could also be written as 5 to the negative 1/12, which we know was one of the answers. So choice A would be one of the answers that's correct. This was a select all that applies, so make sure you go through each choice, B, C, D, and see if you can manipulate it into one of these answers that we know is correct. So hopefully that's helpful. Let me know if you still need more help after you watch these videos, and we can definitely chat some more and figure out how I can help you.